Hey ho, let's go. And happy Wednesday, everyone. Hope you're well wherever you are. I assume relieved Yankee fans in the waiting room. But before we get to them, I am Sean Pugsley Martin. This is episode 42 of Pugsley's Pit, and as we always do, we begin each show asking you the question. You know it's coming. Where else would you rather be than right here, right now? By way of introduction, I'm a freelance sports writer at the Albany Times-Union, avid sports enthusiast, big-time homer. All these banners behind me without apologies. As always, you can follow the show on Twitter, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, at Pugsley's Pit on Twitter. Before we bring in our guest today, coming up later in the show in the My World segment, the Red Hot Raiders, going to win the Super Bowl this year, the Bruins, the Huskers, and most importantly, we saw the last couple months, especially last week, to our local doctors for removing the red menace from my nose last week. Now, to the show. From ball9.com, friends of the program, Mr. Chris Vitale from, you still in San Diego, or did you get out of there? You checking out a little bit?
San Diego. Still, yeah, I'm in my little room here.
And Mike Nelson and the Philly Burbs. Before we get to Judge, John Heyman had some breaking news a little while ago that you were ejected from the hotel. You ejected, or is it a self-checkout?
It's a self-checkout so far. I mean, as far as I know, yeah.
So he's batting 1,000 in the last 24 hours. Boy, did I have fun last night with the Aaron Judge going to San Francisco from John Heyman. Not the news. Judge got paid today. I talked to Mike yesterday. I've never seen an athlete bet on himself more and come up big.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's better for baseball. It's better for the Yankees, the Judge is there. Although I got to be honest with you, I was praying for him to go anywhere else. Just the Yankee Twitter would have gotten me through the winter with their reactions. You guys happy or relieved when that news came down? 9 years, 360.
I mean, good for him. That's for sure. I mean, it's a lot of money. So, I mean, I'm happy for him. I mean, I'm as long as they can continue to spend money to make the team better, then that's really all I care about. I mean, I'm happy he's there, but I mean, if they still need to get better, they can't just have the same team as last year and, lose again to the freaking Astros.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I'm not writing the check. I don't care how much he gets paid. He earned it.
Yeah.
$127 million bet. That was the payoff.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Almost as much as I would have won in total if I would have bet against Nebraska every week this year.
That's not funny.
That's not the biggest news of the day, Sean.
What's that?
The A's signed Jace Peterson. Like, that is.
I know that.
That may take them from 58 wins to 58 wins.
Our work here is done. And we got somebody named Smith from the Rockies.
Whoever that is. I do agree with Chris. I mean, it's a relief, right? I mean, we all believe that he should be a Yankee for the rest of his career. It's great. It cements his legacy as a Yankee. I mean, people are a little over the top with the Monument Park stuff. And apparently, as part of this, I think Ken Rosenthal's reporting he'll be named captain. And that's great. That's great. None of it means squat if he doesn't win a champion, if they don't win a World Series. And, like, not to put a damper on it, but, like, to Chris's point, it's the same team. Actually, it's not the same team. It's not as good a team.
No, they lost.
It's not as good a team today as it was before he signed this contract, because there's no left fielder still.
Yeah.
I mean, Tommy Canley's back. Hopefully he's healthy. Look good at the end of the year.
Yeah, he looks fine.
Tommy tight pants. Tyone's better than Germán, and Tyone's on the Cubs. So the starting, and I was expecting them to sign Quintana, and Cohen snagged him today.
Yep.
So maybe Rodon is the next chip. They say they're very deep in conversations with Rodon. That'd be great.
They need a lefty. I mean, I think he's the
Need
guy.
a lefty in a rotation.
Yeah, I think he's the guy. I mean, who else? I don't really even know who else is available. So I think Rodon is the move. I agree.
I mean, thankfully, Andrew Heaney's off the board, so we don't have that looming as a potential.
Oh, where did he go?
Texas, which means they're, as much as they spend on DeGrom, they're not serious about winning because they signed
the two worst contracts through this process, Heaney getting a contract is bad. DeGrom, as good as he is, that is so much money to wrap up in a guy that's been more hurt than he's been healthy for a few years.
Well, the money, the thing I saw before the Judge signing, there was over $1 billion in contracts paid or committed to. So that's Turner, Verlander, DeGrom, and those guys that had signed, and all the shortstops are still on the board. Judge was still on the board, so now you're at $1.4 billion. I mean, the money, they're spending the money. I mean, and you know who's going to pay it? We are, but they are spending. Like, teams are spending the money. Josh Bell got a nice deal today. I mean, there's like chips are starting to drop pretty quickly. I think that Judge signing.
Josh Bell goes? I've been out of it today.
Josh Bell went to Cleveland. That's a good sign. And cheap. Like two for I don't know, 2 for 24 or something. It was, he had such a terrible
excuse me.
He fell off the planet when he got traded to the Padres, but that for them, that's a good signing for the Indiardians. And then like Haniger to the Giants, they were doing that whether they were signing Judge or not.
Yep.
So now they'll go all in on Correa, Bogarts, or Swanson, one of those three.
Is Correa's going to get way overpaid soon? I don't get it with him. I don't get it. He was listed at USA Today as the second best free agent out there. They're talking $325 million for him.
I think at the end of all of this, the best value contract that's going to get signed during this process is what the Phillies gave Turner. Even though it was 11 years, I think Trey Turner is one of the top 5 players in baseball. And 11 for 300 for Turner. I mean, like that's crazy.
And the Brown got Taiwan Walker for what, 4 years?
Yeah. 4 years. Yep, he got 4. And they got Strom, the reliever. Apparently, that's done too. I mean, they're spending.
Oh, okay.
They're spending off the. I mean, they're spending to win. Like, they know the window's the window. But their lineup is terrifying. Holy cats!
Yeah. You know,
I mean, their lineup is terrifying. Turner replacing Segura, their lineup is terrifying. Yeah. And add a bigger bases, and he already runs like a lunatic as it is. And then you add the bigger bases and limited pitch, limited throwovers. He's going to have 90 stolen bases this year. They're going to be and you can't get a ticket already. Season tickets are up 20% in Philadelphia.
Really?
And they're from 2007 to 2011. They had something like 380 consecutive sellouts, and then they had that drop where they didn't. And I had tickets then, and it was a blast. And they want to get right back to that. They know fans will come. They know fans will come if they win. If they're not good, it'll be like the Vet used to be, where you could hear a conversation in right field.
What I hear the Padres offered Judge 10 for 400.
Yeah.
They got to be in the mix here. They didn't get Turner. You would think Correa, Bogarts, or Swanson's going to be heading there if they really want to move Tatis to the outfield if he ever decides to play.
Bogarts would be a good move for them.
Yeah. Hey, what are the winter meetings like? I told you off camera, the visual guys just BSing in the lobby. If you sit down with a cup of coffee, you might overhear something. My guess is Billy Beane and David Forster sitting outside playing their banjo with the open guitar case, so people will put some money in there.
Exactly.
For Chase Peterson.
There, they may not even be there. They can't afford the trip.
I don't know why they go, but what's it like? What's it like being in the hotel?
It's fun. I mean, it's exactly what you'd think. I mean, you got a bunch of kids that are handing out resumes to everyone that they see, trying to get jobs in baseball. Then you have, just some fans hanging around. Then you have guys, like me, who own little businesses that, are trying to, expand and network and things like that. And then, then you have, seen a lot of ex-players. I was hanging out with Dave Stewart a while. That was kind of interesting, but and then, about 6, 7 o'clock, the mood shifts to everybody starting to get hammered at the hotel bar. I was telling you, Sean, I was sitting there last night with Phil Nevin for a while, just bullshitting. But I was talking to Greg Amsinger too, and he reiterated, he put it perfectly. He's like, he's like, it's all bullshit. that's what he said, and that's he's like everything. He's like all the meetings, my job, it's all bullshit. So I was like, all right. So if you look at it like that, that's what it is. It's just a bunch of guys bullshitting, and it's an excuse.
But you remember what it used to be like. Like, remember what it used to be like, which would there'd be trades. It would seem like every minute a trade would be announced at these meetings. But I think now they're working year. I don't think they worked year round like they do then, like they do now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that the conversations could have been happening before the trade deadline and they picked up immediately when they got out there and they got those deals done. And there wasn't as much free agency, so trades had to happen. And this was the place when they were face to face, and they weren't through email, and there wasn't Zoom. Like, they were face to face, and they could get stuff done. So back to the Padres thing, because it's the same thing with Turner. And Twitter sure doesn't help this. I feel like you can't believe anything that comes out of that meeting. You can't believe any of it, and I believe ink on paper. So the Padres can say whatever they want. The only organization that I'll believe when they say what they offered was when the Giants say what they offered Judge.
Yeah.
But it's easy for the Padres after somebody's already agreed to it. This is twice. After they've agreed to a contract, now all of a sudden you find out that they offered more. So I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah.
Damage control, possibly. I mean,
would they?
What's the buzz like when John Heyman tweets that Aaron Judge is going to San Francisco? I know what it was like on the peripheral.
Oh my God! It was like the air got sucked out of the room. Like people couldn't believe it. I mean, everybody. All of a sudden, you see everybody on their phone, like, "Oh my God!" And then 5 minutes later, like, "Oh my God!" So, it happens, man. He got sources jumped the gun. I ran into him last night. Shit happens, but.
Well, they all want to be first.
At least he had the balls to walk it back and apologize for jumping the gun on that. But
they live in a competitive world.
Yeah,
it's all about being first with those guys.
You got to be right.
Sometimes they get it right. I mean,
you got to be right.
Retirement thing's a great example. They want to be first.
Yeah,
you got to be right before you're first, though. That's a credibility thing.
Yeah. I mean, you just don't have time to, verify everything with multiple sources anymore. I mean, it's so quick, So, like Mike said, it's a very competitive world that they're in. That that they have to be first. So
that's why ball nine sticks to the 60s, 70s, and 80s. You don't have to worry about it.
Already happened. You can't fuck that one up.
It's already written.
You have to queue up that NSFW tab.
Sorry about that. Whoops.
No, that's okay. I don't care.
It's baseball people just I'm cursing like a sailor for the last 2 days.
Oh, I could care less. My boys saw me on a PTA Zoom meeting last night. They got my TV fixing me. They won't see this. So
okay.
What's the weirdest thing you've ever seen happen? How long have you been going to the winter meetings?
This is my third one. Yeah.
What's the strangest thing that you can tell us about without getting anybody in trouble?
Yeah, that's difficult. I can't really tell you the strangest stuff because it'll wind up getting somebody fired or something. But I mean,
what happens in the winter meeting stays in the winter meeting.
More or less, yeah. I mean,
I respect that.
I managed to. I mistakenly walked onto the set of MLB Tonight. Just walked right into it. I don't know how that happened. I mean, I realized I'm like, where are all these lights? And I realized I'm standing right behind like Dusty Baker, who's in a chair. I'm like, I don't think I'm supposed to be here. So,
like Zach Galifianakis walking back into Tyson's house during The Hangover. Oops, I'm not supposed to.
Yeah, exactly. I just kind of wandered out, But
where was the spotter? Where were the spotters? At the blackjacks table? What were they doing? Playing craps?
But I mean, it's the whole thing strange, man. I mean, it's just a strange environment. I mean, it's fun. It's fun, but like I said, I'm glad to be going home today.
Yes.
Now, Not Gaetti was all excited this week at Not Gaetti with Fred McGriff going to the Hall of Fame. And I think he posted who deserves it the most. For years, I was on the Jack Morris bandwagon. He got in. My answer was Don Mattingly. Mike, you answered Thurman Munson. Chris, who out there for you is been wrongfully omitted from Cooperstown?
I'm going with Louis Tion, of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got to go with Louis. It's funny. I had Dave Stewart when we were bullshitting. I don't know. Somehow Tion came up, and even Dave Stewart thought he was in the Hall of Fame already. So he recorded a message for me to send to Louis, and it was actually pretty funny. And
it is pretty funny.
Did you see that?
You shared it with me. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Yeah, he's.
I'm gonna tell you this, brother. I was sitting there having a conversation. I thought you were in the Hall of Fame. You not being in the Hall of Fame for somebody who meant so much to me, that's a fucking crime, brother. That's a crime.
So, that's just what happens here. It's just.
I got to tell you, I watched that video. I was a little intimidated.
Yeah, I mean, still, it looks like he's still knocking on your platoon.
Yeah,
he probably would. He'd come back, be the ace of that staff.
Nice guy, though. Nice guy. Really nice guy.
Hey, we'll go back to the Yankees for a second. How much do you think the Yankees had to sign Aaron Judge? You got Steve Cohen going nuts on the other side, and that matters. A friend of mine today, a friend of Mike and I, the big man in Massachusetts, now thinks that the Yankees re-upped with Judge, that the Red Sox might be a little more apt to go after Bogarts to not honk off all their fans. Now, how much do you think there's a pressure there? I would think there would be.
I think if they lost out on him, there would be an immense amount of pressure of what they would have to do. I think that I think that would really ramp it up. I mean, especially with the Mets going just immediately replacing DeGrom with Verlander. I mean, like they're showing that they'll make moves. They don't care. I mean, Cohen will just start signing checks. But I mean, again, we're gonna have to see what they put around Judge. I mean, you can't run back the same team as last year, like Mike said. I mean, they even lost a couple pieces. So, hopefully that doesn't hamstring him with this contract. I mean, if they start, crying about the luxury tax and stuff now, well, it's not good. I mean, you can't. You have to. You're gonna have to go over. You have to. It's just.
You're the Yankees. You have to go over.
Yeah.
Well, the Mets are at. I heard this morning the Mets are at the Cohen tax threshold already, which means 90 cents on the dollar. They're $34 million in tax penalty today, and they don't have a center, and they got to sign Nimmo.
I don't know if they're going to sign him. I don't know if they can afford to sign him. He's going to want $20 million a year. I mean, he's going to want.
Well, he's got Boris as an agent. He's going to get $40 million. He's going to get $31 million.
Yeah.
And I don't get it, but
I don't either. But he's an on-base machine. He's pretty good defender. I mean, he's a good player. I don't know if he's worth that.
He is a good player.
But I mean,
Benintendi's Nimmo light.
He is. So I mean, I can see that
be $21 million a year.
Yeah, I don't know. If he walks, I'm not going to cry about that.
No, like the Judge thing is unique in that not only has he been incredibly productive and he's coming off a magical season, but he's a homegrown player. He says and does everything the right way. He's the face of the franchise. He's the face of baseball now.
Yeah,
like the PR fallout from not signing him is worth the extra $40 million or whatever they had to pony up because they're going to make it back. Like, so there is that opportunity cost that if they hadn't signed him, like, what are they going to lose? No matter who they brought in, right? If they went out and they got Nimmo, Rodon, and Correa, probably would make him a better offense, to be quite honest with you. I mean, honestly, it'd probably be a better lineup. But if they did that, it's still not Judge. And Boston isn't a similar situation, Sean. They're struggling with Devers to try to get a deal done there. He wants $320 to $360, and they're offering like $280. And Bogarts is the Red Sox.
Yeah.
And I hope to hell he signs someplace else because that'd be.
I don't think he's worth it though. I don't think he's worth it.
I don't know. I did hear this morning. I heard this morning when I actually went to move my car. So I mean, the MLB Network radio was on, and apparently they're in talks with Bogarts in Boston again. Though they're trying. I think they're trying to work something out. But who knows? I'd love for him to go to somewhere else. Like if he goes to San Diego or something like that. I think because San Diego's got to do something. I mean, like you said, if they're swing and a miss. That's 2 strikes already.
They don't really have a choice now.
No, now they have to do something.
Now that they've leaked out that they apparently offered more for the 2 top players that come up.
Yeah, I don't know where the hell they're off the market. Yeah, I don't know where all that money's coming from. But
that's a good question.
Yeah,
maybe it's coming in. Maybe it's coming in on submarines from Tijuana.
It's very possible.
You never know.
Check the marina.
You never know.
Exactly.
Any other big surprises that might fall, Chris, that you've heard about?
No, not really. I mean, that's. The big storyline was Judge, obviously. So I mean, now that that's over, they might make a couple little moves today. Like I said, the Rule 5 draft, I think they do. I think that happens all day today. So, maybe you'll see a couple smaller moves kind of coinciding with that. But yeah, I think, the big, all the big chips are pretty much off the board. So, I think we've seen what we're going to see, but you never know. I mean, like I said, they could be a couple GMs that, getting drunk at 2:30 in the morning, making trades on napkins. So who knows? It's very possible.
Sounds like a fantasy baseball trade I made with Mike in 1992 at 3 a.m. Hockey, New York, and I woke up and said, I traded Barry Larkin. How the hell did I do that? It happens.
And I woke up and I went, I got Barry Larkin? How the hell did that happen? How did I get Barry Larkin?
We've been there. We understand that analogy. That works.
It happens here too. So, it's just on in a big hotel lobby.
The best news about those trades is that we don't have to pay the contract.
Yeah, exactly.
This is true. All right, boys, I'm going to let you go. I appreciate you jumping on.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you.
All right, get out of that hotel, Chris, and enjoy the rest of your day.
I have a half hour, so I'm gonna shower and get on the road. So.
All right, man. We'll see you guys later.
See you, Chris.
All righty.
All right, guys. Later, Mike.
Later. Be good. Mike Nelson, Chris Vitale from ballline.com. Great conversation. John Heyman. You got to get it right. I get the pressure. You want to be first and all that stuff. You got to get it right. Anyway, let's go to my world. DPOY, Defensive Player of the Year. Max Crosby was a beast. First play of the game last week against the Chargers. And strip sack. Well, he didn't get a sack, but he stripped the ball away from Justin Herbert. He was a pain in the ass all day. His opposite defensive end mate there, Chandler Jones, finally had a big game. He had a good game the week before against Denver, but it didn't show up in the stats. 3 sacks in the first half. The Raiders, a great win at home against the Chargers. I want to pick on the Chargers a little bit. I was going to send condolence, a box of coffee, and maybe some donuts and bagels to their booster club. I figured I'd need about enough for 12 for their fans, all 12 of them. Justin Herbert checks every box, right? Arm, size, strength, can run. He doesn't win games. He doesn't win enough games. I know he's had guys hurt, but so I get that. But he had Allen, he had Keenan Allen, he had Eckler. All those guys were there on Sunday, and he got him 1 touchdown. So I think he has all the markings of a great quarterback, but it's been almost 3 full years now, and they're going the wrong way. So too bad. I don't feel bad at all. I'm enjoying it. 3 in a row for the Raiders. We're going to move on to the Rams on Thursday night. A very winnable game. Let's get back to 6 and 7 and see if we can't make a playoff push down the stretch. Hope we get some losses. Jets, Dolphins, whoever, Chargers. They're good for a few more. So let's see. Denver, I just had to show this picture again. This U.S. Open instead of getting ready for his team. Another awful performance for the Broncos. Keep it coming, Denver. Keep it coming. No sympathy. Bruins, hey, tough loss the other night to the Vegas Golden Knights in overtime. Loses the first loss of the year at home for the Bruins, but you know what? You're not going to win them all. 23-1. It's a great start. Keep it coming. Keep Linus Allmark playing goals. Swayman's been good too. We just want to ride it out. So one more thing I wanted to acknowledge before we let you go. The Huskers, a follow-up on Dave from @HuskGuys last week, coming through that pipeline jerky. That's some seriously good stuff. You want to follow him on Twitter @pipeline jerky, just like it sounds. Is the spelling. Good stuff. Great shirt that I got from that group. The one thing I wanted to bring up, probably within maybe 3 hours of us recording the show, Mickey Joseph was arrested on domestic violence charges, strangulation. I'm not going to comment on it. I tend to like to wait and see, let everything come out, see what happened. But thoughts with Priscilla Joseph, his wife, assuming she was the victim there, and the kids and the whole Joseph family. So prayers up for them, and they can get it figured out. Mickey, I'll wait and see what happens with that. But if that's true, that just cannot be condemned, and it'll be interesting to see. Do the Huskers just cut them loose if all this is true, or do you stick with a guy that's played there and helped out this season and try and work with him? I don't know. Not a decision I would want to make, but that's the way it goes. So on that note, folks. Oh, also, book plug. Shameless plug of the week. Dear Liam and Noah, Letters from Daddy is now live in conjunction with my good friends at the Saratoga Springs Publishing Company here in upstate New York. And for them, you can find it on Amazon. Dear Liam and Noah. We're on the website, dearliamandnoah.com. Once again, you can follow the show on Twitter at Pugsley's Fit, Taking the Podcast, YouTube, Apple, Spotify. Have an awesome week. Thanks again to Chris and Mike. We'll chat with you all soon.